the 5 marches that I have been using in this KVK on Pass 4 opening that got me 35 million kills in a 24 hours of work. Hello everyone and welcome back to another Rise of Kingdom video. I'm Legend Ronnie, and today I'm gonna show you the 5 marches that I have been using in this KVK on Pass 4 opening that got me 35 million kills in about 24 hours of work. Now here is the list. So I have done 31 million.8 tier 5 kills and I have done 3 million tier 4 kills, so almost 35 million kills. This is all have been done in less than 24 hours of work. So the pass opened around 8 o'clock and I went to sleep around 22 in the evening. After that I woke up around 6, and then after 6 more hours the KVK was over. So I pretty much fought a total of 22 hours, but I just want to sum it up and do it 24 hours. So this is how much I have killed in 24 hours. Now the marches that I have been using, I just showed them at the beginning, and I also need to explain a little bit because some players might just not understand my style of play, because I'm gonna post a link on the top if you want to see the stream, how the first 8 hours have been going in this KVK and how I was playing in this KVK for the first 8 hours. But I also need to say the amount of resources that I spent, the crystal tech, so you can have a full understanding of these 5 marches. And as you notice, I haven't used YSG, so probably this might be a little bit of a shock for some of the people, and I also need to give you an explanation about that one as well. So the total amount of resources that I have used in these 24 hours exceeded 16 billion resources. I started with 3 billion of each, which is about 12 billion, and then I had to top up a little bit more with the cards, and then I had to top up a bit more later on after I woke up. So the overall resources is around 16.5 billion resources that I have spent for these kills, which is a pretty high number of resources for the amount of kills that I have done. Now you probably saw that there was a lot of tier 5 kills, which definitely brought me a lot of kill points. You're probably wondering, how can someone do so many tier 5 kills? It all depends on how your opponents fight. That's number 1. And 2, you need to know your targets. So pretty much trying to learn and understand the marches that your opponents are using by literally going without the simplified graphics and seeing the troops that they use. You pretty much know that those people are going to use the same troops type. Nobody is going to switch from tier 5 to tier 4, is pretty rare. Or when you check the reports, when you go to your reports, you can tell the difference by the power drops. When you check a report, a battle report, not a barbarian one, you can tell by the power drops. It's pretty easy to tell if they use T5s or T4, so you don't have to go in and really check the troops that they used. Now the amount of speed ups that I have used, that's going to be pretty hard to tell. And in terms of the crystal tech that I have done, it was pretty much everything that you can buy from the shop that is related to crystal. So any bundles that gives you crystal until the Pass 4 opening, they were bought. So this attack 2 was also maxed out, and the call to arms was 9 out of 10. Pretty much everything else behind this was maxed, and the attack 3 was 3 out of 10. Because you already saw the troops capacity that I have been using. This has not been updated, just so I can keep it saved for this video. So you're noticing the marches are 366k, 366k, 374, 366. I was rallying with cabs, so that's why Xi and Chandra, and then I was rallying with archers, Gilgamesh and Nebu, which right now is the meta archers for rallying. Trajan and Netolf, Leguan and Alex, Saladin and William. There was no YSG. I will use YSG when I'm going to do the 6th March and when I'm going to do the 7th March. But for right now, I felt that it had no room. Our opponents were using a lot of Nebu YSG, which probably do a lot of damage. I don't deny it. I use it as well on people, please. I use it in 1 KVK. But unfortunately, whenever Nebu is target, you can't get away and he dies pretty fast. So that's the thing that I'm so unhappy about the Nebu YSG situation right now. I think YSG needs a more tankier commander, something like Artemisia or something like Ramses, because Ramses has a lot of capabilities of increasing his defense or making himself a little bit more defensive. If you check his skills on Ramses, he can increase the defense with a chance, obviously, and then he gives you a 30% skill damage reduction guarantee and a lot of attack, which obviously is going to empower your YSG even further. So a pretty solid choice, Ramses, and a pretty solid choice for Artemisia as well to go with your YSG. Artemisia gives you defense and health, but it's not just that, it's the defense talent tree that she has. And from the defense talent tree, you get a lot of defensive options like damage reduction, more defense, a little bit of health, even more skill damage reduction as well. So pretty solid two choices that you want to go for your YSG. Me personally, I prefer Artemisia because of the AoE. Now I do have to make you understand the strategy that I have been using throughout my live stream, because you're probably wondering, hey, we saw your live stream and you're kind of going kamikaze a little bit. As crazy as it sounds, that is a part of my strategy. So for example, whenever opponents, they find a weak spot in your defenses, they always try to exploit it. This is a common sense in a strategy. So our weak spot was at this river where they had flags, and they could have disconnected one of our alliances that had a fortress here, and we already built very far north. There were 2 flags away to disconnect that fortress. All our main forces were focusing on the left flank and on the right flank as well. We had nothing on this flank. We were split into like 4 places, and in these places there wasn't a lot of players. This is why you probably heard during the live stream that I'm the only one fighting. Obviously it's inaccurate. We were an entire kingdom fighting, but I was the only one going kamikaze and sacrificing and swarming rallies, as you see in the live stream, and keep smashing my troops into their troops. But the reason I'm saying that this is part of a strategy is because I was buying time. A lot of people don't realize that. But players that can afford the resources and speed up to keep emptying this hospital, this is a very nice strategy to try to keep buying time for a couple of hours on one side. So they were doing a very nice movement of how they were going in to burn our flags. They were always moving in with the rallies and making sure they are reinforcing and then swarming the flag when the reinforcements were going pretty lower on the flag. But my strategy was to weaken their marches as much as possible. That's why I was keep smashing my troops, but I was doing it with a logic. So I was always trying to fight with as few of them as possible. I wasn't letting myself being dragged in their murder ball and just stupidly getting demolished, but I was trying to also have a tactic in lowering down their marches. I was making them to be less effective when they were pushing on our territory. That was the whole goal of just going in, because they had to march from various places and it was taking them too long to go back and refresh, plus the rallies were being launched, so obviously they had to send in the murder ball with the rally. And people who were having yellow marches from the opposing forces, they had to send those marches in, which obviously if they were swarming the flags, for them it was pretty bad. I was paying the hospital bills, so definitely was expensive for me. And when the rally was coming in, I was also just sending my 5 marches to swarm the rally and just empty the hospital. So pretty much I was buying a lot of time and didn't manage to break in on this side, and they were pretty much stuck. And I was just me and a couple of other players, but that's okay. There's not a problem. No, as long as someone is doing it and is just buying time and lowering their marches, that was pretty much the whole goal, the whole strategy that I was trying to do. I've done this in the past. This is not how I really like to fight, you know, just going kamikaze inside and just smashing my marches. But it definitely paid off. Later on, after that thing was done, and they stopped pushing on that side, we just moved the forces somewhere else, you know, just playing in the murder ball, you know, like everyone else. I also pretty much spent a lot of the resources defending there, so I was like, okay, if someone else wants to do it, it's fine, but I wasn't going to do it. So my choices were without YSG, because one of the reason is I don't have Artemisia and also don't have Ramses. So for me it was pretty hard to do a second Archer march for the field. But when I'm going to do the 6th and the 7th march, I have the sculptures and I plan to do another Archer march as well. So that's definitely going to help out. And I can't build my marches without having my debuffing and buffing marches. So you've seen that I had Trajan in there, Trajan and Ethelflaed, so I definitely need them. Then I had Xi and Chandragupta, I had Gilgamesh and Nebu, which was also my rally composition. Gilgamesh is definitely debuffing with health, with his primary, with defense, with his primary on Xi. And I had Saladin and William, which also slows a lot. Saladin with 50%, so I definitely need Saladin in there. William buffs with his fourth march. So pretty much you're noticing that all my marches were super beneficial for me. Guan and Alex, the infantry march that always takes a beating. Every time a player with many archers were coming in, he was always the target. Poor Guan Yu. But he offers the silence on the marches that are not immune to silence. He does very, very good damage if he's left alone. And then you have Alex to debuff even further with his expertise. So all the marches, they were just offering something real good for the murder ball. Not necessarily for my murder ball, but everyone else was in the murder ball. So the results were pretty exceptional. I got a lot of kills. I'm pretty happy with the results. Probably could have gone better. Well, it could have gone better. Obviously, it can always go better. But so far there was nobody else in the kingdom that done so many kills, so I guess it paid off in the end. So YSG is still a great commander, don't get me wrong about it. It's just that for some high-end players that have so many marchers, YSG is kind of dropping in utilities because of his defensive capabilities, which are none or next to none. So it's very limited or of where you can still use YSG, and that's pretty much with Artemisia and Ramses. Nobody does like a Richard and a YSG or a Charles Martel and a YSG when you're in the season of conquest on these high-end type of KVKs, or a Constantine and YSG, or whatever combination you're thinking about. That those just don't work. You're not really getting good trades. You're not getting positive trades. I'm still going to use him, and I also plan to max a monitor in the future on this account as well, but I need Artemisia for that. So until my Artemisia is at least 5511, YSG is gonna be on a bench, but once I get Artemisia up and running, I'm definitely gonna pair with YSG, and that's gonna be my 6th March. And for my 7th March, I plan to do Guan and Leo on this account, because I have a lot of infantry, and I'm going to use Alex with Harald, because my Harald is 5425, so it's very usable. That's gonna be the go-to situation right now, so I can have, again, just skill damage, buffs, debuffs, you know, so I can have all the things. Since Guan is kind of a target, and if Alex is gonna be a target, he's gonna have Harald behind him, so I don't care. You know, there's gonna be a lot of AoE value and so on. He's almost max. I just need like 300 sculptures to max Harald as well. Probably I will max him. And Guan and Leo is a solid march. Is my second best favorite march, to be honest. Guan and Alex is the first, Guan and Leo is the second, and it's a 5-5-2 Leo, so it's really good and really nice march to use. I used him. You see, my Leo has almost 10 million kills, so I definitely done Guan and Leo in the past. They really work. So definitely you can get a lot of kills even without YSG with these marches that I have over here. But if you have YSG, you should definitely use him. I think once I'm gonna put YSG in the army and have more AoE value with my marches, I think I might even get even more kills. But so far, these 5 marches were amazing, despite the fact that I don't have Tomiris, right? Because when I think about on my Legend Ronnie account, on my main account, I have Tomiris, and that's even a plus because I'm debuffing the target with extra skill damage, so they can take extra skill damage. So WTF to that. Imagine when you have that one as well. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you understand a little bit that always everything has a reason and a purpose. It's not just smashing troops, but sometimes, you know, it pays off to do that. So until next time, this is your boy Legend Ronnie signing off. Peace out, yo, and take care. See you on the next one, and stay safe out there, my friends.